Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I also wanted to let you know that not only do I create content here on Class in the Glass, but I also stream content in my Twitch channel, Mr. Revan7. I play single-player games, multiplayer games, and I also do movie reviews and cartoon reviews as well. I also want to encourage you to check out my Patreon, Class in the Glass, where I offer audio commentaries, full reactions for movies, and also the ability to submit questions for my video casts and podcasts. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and enjoy the video.
In a John Hughes film,
Why are you being so nice to me? Because you're letting me.
The Breakfast Club.
Chat, here we go. We're open up now. The year is 1984, chat. March 24th, 1984. We're in Chicago. It's about 20 degrees outside. Even in March, chat, is cold as balls, okay? And listen, I said, Chicago, I know it's in the Midwest and everything, but this movie really reminded me of my hometown of Buffalo, New York, which is on the Great Lakes, much like Chicago is. It's near the Great Lakes. And because much like in March in Chicago, chat, March in Buffalo is gray and miserable and cold and snowy, and just you feel a fucking wind that cuts through you. And like I just the cinematography is to me really underappreciated. Because you just see all these various shots of the high school from the outside and just this fucking gray overcast all over it. Just like, that is the worst place to be right now. And it perfectly captures that feeling, that dread. It's like, oh, I don't want to go to school. I feel the wind, and I go inside there, and it's fucking hot and sweaty, and I start sweating. And when I go outside, I got to put my thing on, and I'm wet, and I got to deal with all these goddamn kids who I hate, and they all hate each other. Like, it does that so well, chat. And then we're introduced to the first of the characters, Claire. She's in her big old fancy daddy's BMW. She's like, Dad, I don't want to have to do this. She's like, honey, you fucked up. You got to go. You got to go to detention. They're all going to detention on a Saturday, chat. That's a fucking nightmare. I'll give you a little historical fact about me, chat. Josh could probably back this up, but in high school, chat, I've only went to detention once. I was shocked when it happened. I don't even know why it happened. Oh, no, I'll tell you why it happened. Josh, if Josh is still here, you'll get a kick out of this. So the reason why I went to detention, chat, and this must have been, 2000, Jesus Christ, I'm old, 2010 or 2009. I'm aging as I speak. I think part of me just turned to dust. But the reason why I was sent to detention on that day, chat, similar day as we saw in the Breakfast Club, dead of fucking winter, it was because I was wearing a hoodie. Now, chat, I went to a private Catholic high school, okay? And you had a very specific dress code back in the day, okay? You could wear khaki pants. You could wear a dress shirt, tie, or a as the high school bought sweater vest or sweater, okay? And I was wearing at the time, chat, because I had my sweater vest on, but I was still fucking cold as hell. So I had my high school hoodie on, chat. Like, I bought this with my own money from the high school, okay? They pocketed so much of my goddamn cash. And I was wearing this thing, and we had this one teacher, Josh, you fucking know who it is. We had this math teacher. And she was so adamant about getting this one position in the school, and because she went from being like one of the nicest teachers to being one of the worst, and she would constantly send people to detention for just one, like, you couldn't wear, I don't know, whatever, it was a dumb rule, you couldn't wear your hoodie during the winter, which to me is so fucked up. And I was wearing my hoodie, like I come from outside and I was cold, and I'd forgotten to take it off. I was going to my locker, she's like, detention, you can't wear that. And I got detention, chat, because I was cold. It's fucking ridiculous. So... yeah, so I totally understand. They perfectly captured this the sense of dread, chat. It's like, I didn't do anything wrong. Why are you doing this to me? Just like Molly Ringwald, chat. Just like Molly Ringwald. And her dad, she's saying, like, listen, I hate your fucking mother, so I'm gonna make this up to you, okay? You're not gonna go back to that fucking bitch and complain to her, because I'm gonna do well for you, okay? And she says, okay, Dad, sounds good. You find out that the parents use her to get back at each other, chat. It's terrible. And so... she goes in there, and then we're introduced to Andy, played by Emilio Estevez, which Jesus Christ, he looks just like his dad, Martin Sheen, chat. There's no doubt about. I mean, it's like you look at Martin Sheen from Apocalypse Now and Emilio Estevez in The Breakfast Club. It's unsettling how similar they look. Like that could be the same person. Well, I know. You couldn't know. You get confused eventually who's who. And he's in his good old pickup truck of his dad. And the dad's telling him, like, listen, son, I roughed house when I was your age. I fucking, taped some kid's buns together so he couldn't shit. But the thing is, son, you got caught, and you got a price to pay. Okay, you can't fucking blow this, man. You gotta get this goddamn scholarship to go to college. Okay, you're a fucking winner, not a loser. Not like these fucking kids who you're taping buns up. All right. Milostiv goes, sure, dad, and he goes in the building, chat. And then meanwhile, we cut to Anthony Michael Hall, chat, Brian in the film. He's the nerd, if you will, the weirdo, if you will. And he's in his car with his mother, and the mother is just fucking badgering him. And she's like, is this going to be the first time or the last time, Brian? And, he's just so beaten down by life, chat. And, he's like, it's good. It's going to be the last time. She's like, good. It should be, okay? Now, we need you to keep your grades up. Do you understand me, Brian? He goes, I understand. She's like, you better. And then he has his little sister, like his little sister's like right next to him. She goes, yeah. Just like the mother. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ. The apple doesn't fall far from the rotten tree, in my opinion, Chad. Which, by the way, that was actually Anthony Michael Hall's real mother and sister. Okay, so he was in the fucking moment. John Hughes is like, I want you to use that actual trauma that you went through in high school. And so I'm going to bring in your mother who was badgering you during that time, too. So fucking brilliant on John Hughes' part, Chad, in my opinion. Bad luck, Lou. Welcome to stream. What the heck did I just walk in on? I'm reviewing The Breakfast Club, my friend. Welcome to stream. Doing a scene by scene breakdown of this 1985 classic film. And also, chat, we cut to the football field, and we see one John Bender. He's walking across the field, and he gets on the sidewalk, chat, and he's almost hit. It is this fucking close, chat, being hit by a moving vehicle, but it stops suddenly, chat, and he continues on his way. And then we see this girl, this mousy girl, chat. She walks out. This is the character Allie, chat. And she shuts the door and she goes over to her parents' window, about to say like bye or something, but they fucking drive off, chat. They ignore her. And she also goes inside. And then we're in the library, chat, because this is where detention is being held on Saturdays. Everyone sits down. You got, the jock. You have jock, Emilio Estevez sits next to Molly Ringwald. You have Brian. He's sitting on his own table. Allie, she's sitting in back. Fucking John Bender, he comes in. He tells Brian to get his ass up because he wants that spot. And there's no reason why he wanted that spot yet, but he wants to intimidate Brian, okay? He's got a reputation to maintain in this school. And they're all sitting down, they're all relaxing, they're all saying, this is just fucking bullshit, yeah, but you can feel the tension in the air. These are all different people from different cliques. And as we learn in the film, like, these guys just don't match. Or do they? Or do they, Chad? With they're not part of their various cliques, maybe they have more in common than we actually think. Than maybe even they actually think. Maybe, matter of fact, they're all weirdos, Chad. They're all a bunch of nerds, and they just need to be put into this one room to experience each other's various problems, to share in their share of trauma, chat, how much their parents suck, and that's all they goddamn needed. But, chat, all that's undone because Big Dick, Assistant Principal Vernon, Dick Vernon, chat, he walks in, and you could tell this guy's been doing this for 21 years, chat. He thought teaching would be fun. He thought, like, I get the summers off, everything like that, but he has fucking been beaten down by these kids and by his expectations. More the expectation than the actual kid has, his expectations, okay? And he has to come into on a Saturday because, I don't know, maybe he's making some extra money, chat, probably not much. Maybe, how much do you think? Probably like $50 a Saturday, if that, to do this. He makes $31,000 a year, Chad. That'll beat you fucking down. 21 years making 31 grand. Jesus. And he walks in there and he said, all right, ladies, listen up. This detention is going to be a little different for you, okay? You're not just going to stay here and sleep around. I'm looking at you, John Bender. You're not going to sleep here, all right? You're not going to, daydream or something. No, you're going to write an essay. You're going to write an essay of who you think you are. No less than 1,000 words. I was like, shit, 1,000 words. Jesus Christ, it's about who I am. All right, fuck it. And he's putting all these papers down. You're doing all this nonsense and things, chat. And he's like, the last thing I want to do is deal with you fucking kids. But Bender, he's come up with a little sarcastic moment. He's like, hey, I don't want any of that. I don't want any of that smug nonsense from you, John. Sit your ass down there right now. And I'll be right back, okay? And John Bender, he has one last little sarcastic comment. He's like, all right, listen, I'll see you next Saturday, son, all right? If you mess with the bull, you get the horns, all right? And he goes ahead and walks out, chat. And the thing is, John, he doesn't give a shit about this. He crumples up his fucking paper. He throws it. Anthony Michael Hall, he's sticking pens in his mouth like some maniac shit. Doesn't make any sense. And you have Allie. She's just literally chewing on her own fingers, chat. They're all looking over at her. It's like, what the fuck? Why you like, fucking John Bender has a great line. He's like, you know, if you keep eating your hand, you're not gonna you're not gonna be hungry later. She goes, pah, and she spits her nails at him. It's like, Jesus, what a fucking bunch of kids. And so, you know, John, of course, he is the instigator. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to keep fucking with all these people. That's what I'm going to do. And he starts initiating a conversation between Emilio Estevez and between Molly Ringwald, chat. And he's just trying to, like, lay down the rules. Like, listen, I'm the top dog here, okay? I'm not going to take anyone's shit. So don't try to fuck with me. Emilio Estevez, he meets him, though, chat, because he's saying, like, listen, man, you're so full of shit. You know, everything that you do. It's like you don't care about anything. Because that's the thing. He starts talking about all these people. It's like, oh, Molly Ringwald, you never paid attention to me. You never pay attention to Brian, you know. And it's like, you know what? Maybe I want to be like you, Emilio Estevez. Maybe I want to be like you, Molly Ringwald. Maybe I'll fucking go ahead and join the prep club. Maybe I'll go ahead and join the student council. Or you know what? Maybe I'll be a fucking loser, you know. Just all I got to do. It's just, in his own words, shit, not my own words, just be a goddamn retard, and I'll go ahead and join the wrestling team, because you don't need a brain to do it. And they're like, man, I'll fucking beat you. It's like, what are you going to do? And the thing is, because then Brian, he starts trying to raise his hand, talking, everyone's dismissing him, but, you know, he actually goes to Brian. She's like, Brian, what do you have to say? And it's like, these two are in any clubs. Molly Ringwald, Emilio Estevez, why aren't you in good old Brian's club? Brian, what club's you in? He's like, I'm in math club. I'm in the chess club. I'm in the physics club. It's like, oh, the physics club. I was like, okay, that's a club. That's extracurricular activity. It's fucking demented, but that is extracurricular activity among people. Molly Ringwald, why aren't you in the fucking physics club? She goes, well, that's an academic club. And he's like, what's the big deal about that? And she goes, well, it's just, you know, people like me just don't do those kind of clubs. People that, don't do these clubs. And the thing what John Bender is doing here, chat, he is pointing out the hypocrisy. He is showing that all these people are so conceited and fake. Like, he's the one that first initiates this. And they say, like, you know what, this is all bullshit we're experiencing. Like, the thing that John Bender likes the most is honesty. And we see this another key point in the film in regards to the janitor. We'll cover that topic. It's fucking great. But I absolutely love this scene because he's starting to break everyone down and trying to remove the facades that some people have put in place of themselves, right? And he's like, well, I'm going to keep fucking around. And because, everyone starts shouting and shit. And Big Dick Vernon, he's like, hey, keep it down there. I'm trying to, not do anything productive. We constantly come back to Dick Vernon's office chat. And he's making all sorts of little contraptions. He's putting like pencils in cups and shit, make him spin around, ruin his goddamn lunch. I love it. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to go fuck with that door. How about I close this door? And this is one line you couldn't use again in another movie, chat. Like, not during this time. He's like, I'm going to go close this door. Hey, Brian, how about we close that door and let's impregnate good old Molly here? And she goes, fuck off, you asshole. He's like, oh, Jesus Christ, asshole. That's a little aggressive language from you. I don't particularly care for that. I love it, too, because John Bender starts saying fuck, and Emilio Estevez goes like, hey, language. So Captain America was not the first one to say that, Chad. It was Emilio Estevez. I thought that was fucking funny. And so John Bender's like, all right, I'm done with this. He goes over to the door. Meanwhile, fucking Allie, she's eating her fingernails and doing weird shit. But he goes over to the door, Chad. He has like a little, I don't know, like screwdriver. Maybe he has a pocket knife. Maybe he uses that. He takes the screw out the door, and it automatically closes, Chad, so you can't prop it open now. It doesn't like stick. So that fucking thing closes, and everyone's like, fucking John, what are you doing? Bender, just fucking fix the door. He's like, well, I didn't do anything. So what's wrong with you? And then, Dick Vernon, he goes like, all right, what the fuck's going on? What's with the door? Who closed the door? And it's like, Bender, was it you? He's like, we just been sitting here. And then the thing is, though, chat, everyone also goes in the lie. It's like, yeah, sir, the door just closed. Brian says it. Molly Ringwald says it. Emilio Estevez says it. Fucking Allie goes, and just fucking slams her head into the desk. And I love this line. She can't talk, sir. She's incapable of the English language. And, Dick Vernon, he goes over the door, Chad. He fucking opens up. Boom, slam shit. He goes, God damn it. And it's like, I told you, sir, there's something wrong with that door. He's like, all right, shit. He's trying to prop it open. Chad takes the chair, fucking slams again, breaks the chair. And he's like, shit. All right. Fucking, hey, Jock. He's even saying them by their derogatory click names, Chad. Hey, Jock boy, come over here. Help me out here. And he gets Emil Estevez to help him, and they take this giant magazine rack. We're going to put this inside the door. And I love it, too, because they have it there, Chad, but it's not really fucking working. Emil Estevez, he's tripping all over himself trying to get through. And John Bender, he's like, sir, what if we have to escape? That is a fire hazard. You are clearly back in the exit. And Brian's like, well, actually, there's 2 exits back here. And John is like, shut the fuck up, Brian. I wasn't speaking to you. And so eventually it's like it's not working. And then Dick Vernon's like, all right, fuck it. Emil Estevez, get that shit out of there. What are you doing? Just fucking fix it. And so they move it back eventually, chat. Everyone goes ahead and sits down. But then at this point, Dick Vernon, he's just so upset by the situation. He's like, listen, Bender, if there is one screw loose, and if there happens to be one more screw loose for one of these goddamn doors, I'm gonna fucking search your ass for it. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna shake you down for those goddamn screws. I may have not caught you this time, but I will. And he goes to a walkout, chat. But John Bender, he fucking says it, chat. Eat my shorts. And he goes, what was that? And John Bender sitting back like this, chat. Legs crossed against his other leg here. Eat my shorts, sir. And Dick Vernon's like, you just bought yourself another Saturday. And John Bender's like, good. I wouldn't want another Saturday. You just bought yourself another one. How much you want to keep this up, man? Your fucking ass will be mine, man, for the rest of your natural born life. And to the point where they have gotten up to 7 Saturdays. And John Bender's like, I'll have to check my fucking schedule. Next Saturday is like, that's another one. And Michael Hall's like, but sir, it's like, that's 7. It's like, sir, that's actually 8. It's like, you stay out of this, you little shit. And he gets so mad. She's like, Bender, everyone, you don't be like Bender. Okay, he's a piece of shit. I got you for 8 Saturdays, Bender. Got you for 8 goddamn Saturdays. Your ass is mine. You fucking mess with the bull, you get the horns. And he walks out, chat. He's not too happy about the situation. And eventually, everyone's at this point, that has happened. Everyone's just fucking exhausted and bored. Everyone's looking at the goddamn walls. They don't care. They don't give a shit what's actually happening, chat. Eventually, Big Dick Vernon, he walks in, and he's like, all right, who needs to pee? Everyone's like, we all need to pee. And so they all go to pee, chat. Eventually, everyone comes back. Everyone's sitting down. But the thing is, like, there's still shenanigans that are being had. People are still mad about this just having to be here, chat. Allie's still acting weird in the background. No one knows why. She's just doing her own thing, chat. She's making a drawing. Very weird scene when she draws this beautiful piece, chat. And she's like, you know what? It'd be great if this had snow. And she just begins scratching her head and all this dandruff just starts falling down. All this dandruff, chat. Silver Streak, welcome to the stream. Look at the booty butt. Look at the booty butt. I love that email, Silver Streak. Thank you. Welcome. So all this dandruff is falling down. Everyone's like, ugh. That's gross and weird and shit. Eventually, more conversations continue on. More tempers are raised, chat. Eventually, John Bender, he just keeps harassing Molly Ringwald. And Emil Estevez, he's just like, hey, man, you fucking leave her alone. It's like, what the hell are you going to do? What are you going to do? Emil Estevez, he's like, I'll fucking put you down. He's like, oh, you're going to put me down? Like, who and who else? He's like, just me, man. Just me. He's like, oh, that's adorable. And he goes to kind of like slap his face a little bit, like a little pat. And Emil Estevez just grabs his fucking arm, just breaks it and puts him into the goddamn dirt, chat. Just fucking right into the goddamn dirt. And he's face first. And eventually, Molly Ringwald, or excuse me, not Molly Ringwald, he gets up and he's like, yeah, you think you got me right there, but here's the thing, man. Like, in an actual fight, I'd fight to kill. That's what's gonna happen. He's like, yeah, whatever. I'd fucking kick your ass any time of the week. And then fucking John Bender pulls out a goddamn knife, Jay. He pulls out a knife, he's like, oh, shit, Jesus Christ. And he fucking embeds the knife in the table right next to him, right near Allie. And then Allie reaches over from off camera and grabs it and takes it. So, chat, she has that knife for the rest of the film. For the rest of the movie, chat. I'm like, I'm a little concerned by that. She's like, is anyone going to check the fact that she has the knife? And so tempers are still rising, chat. Eventually, it's lunchtime. It's 11:30. And good old Dick Vernon, chat, he walks in and is like, all right, all you fucks get a half hour, okay? And, Bender's like, sir, what are we going to be eating today? Are we going to receive any milk? And he's like, all right, I get one of you come to me in the cafeteria. He's like, we're not going to eat in the cafeteria, so no, you're going to eat fucking here so I can keep an eye on you. Sir, you can't keep an eye on us. Doors goes, like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. All right. Emilio Estevez, and Emilio Estevez is like, is like, hey, go ahead and pair me off with Molly Ringwald. He goes, nah, no, fuck that. Go, the weird girl, weird one. Allie, go with Emilio Estevez. And so they're going to go get some milkshake. Actually, it's not milk because they need product placement in this movie. And they get a bunch of Coke. They get a bunch of Coca-Cola, classic Coke, chat. And you get good old Emilio Estevez and Allie. They're walking down the hall. And he's like, hey, so what do you like to drink? And she's just fucking staring ahead at him. And she's just watching him the entire time, just like. He's like, all right, Jesus Christ. All right, fine. And she goes, vodka. He's like, vodka? She's like, yes. Do you drink that often? All the time. Like, a lot of it? Lots of it. And he goes, whoa, okay, is that why you're here today? And she goes, no, it's not why I'm here. Why are you here? Why are you here? And he goes, well, why are you here? He's like, I asked you first. And he's like, well, it's because my dad says I'm a winner, and I can't blow my shot, and that's why I'm here, so I don't blow my shot. And I don't want to get in any trouble by not blowing my shot. And she goes, that made literally no fucking sense to me. I have no context for what the hell you're talking about. You clearly can't make your own decisions. And she walks away. And he goes, what the fuck? My self-esteem has decreased significantly. She's Alfie a freak. And oh, you can imagine. There is some fucking moments coming up in this film. Later on. Thank you, Director, for the 5 biddies. And so they go to the fucking room chat, and they don't get fucking milk. Who needs goddamn milk? They get that classic 1985, 84 technically in terms of the film chat, 84 Coca-Cola. Everyone comes back. Everyone's getting their own lunches prepared. I love this segment, too, because it also shows the divide between when everyone eats, chat. So we see Molly Ringwald's lunch. It's been prepared by obviously some expensive chef. It's a sushi setup. She's got her fucking little soy sauce in there, chat. Got some good old tuna and salmon sashimi in there. Got seaweed, rice. John Bender's like, what the fuck is that? It's like the grossest thing ever. She goes, it's fucking sushi, you Neanderthal. He goes, ah! And I was like, John Bender, he doesn't want anything to do with that sushi, chat. Thank you. Chris Hermit, Secret Bro. Bro, welcome. I'm glad you came out of the pit today, good sir. I'm reviewing The Breakfast Club right now. We're in the middle of the lunch scene, which is very, very fun. I think it's funny. Anyway. Bro. Hope you're doing well. Cheers, good sir. Cheers. Did I miss a poll? Did I? Yeah, it was Batman Beyond, but I got that. We got that, Chris Harris. Thank you for Levy's goddamn sushi's high school. Well, she's the rich preppy girl, so she didn't it's not bought at the high school. She brought it with her. Everyone brought their lunches today. And since she's fucking rich and shit, she of course eats sushi every other day. Which, chat, by the way, don't eat sushi every day because sushi does have high level of mercury. So a little health tip here. Sushi always good to have, but probably like once a week, right? Once a week is fine. But don't eat it every day because you get mercury poisoning and you could possibly die. So that's a very serious situation. So please be careful. Please watch out how much raw fish you're consuming. So maybe that's why Jeremy's freaked out. It's like, I fucking know Jeremy Piven, and 20 goddamn years later, he'll almost die from mercury poisoning. I know this. So he goes ahead and he looks at good old Emilio Estevez's lunch, and this guy has a full fucking bag of Lay's potato chips, chap. Marketing. Got a little product placement in there. Hey, this movie's got that $1 million not gonna raise itself, chat. You gotta pay some cash, all right? Gotta get a little advertising. And that's what kids fucking eat back in the day, too. He's got a giant bag of potato chips, chat. He's got like 4 or 5 like turkey sandwiches, like a lot of iceberg lettuce, which is not good for you. Go with the romaine lettuce, chat, okay? Go with some greens. Not iceberg. It's just water. That's all you're eating, chat. There's no nutritional value to iceberg lettuce. Fuck that shit. Yatsuba fan, welcome. I hope you're doing very well today. You're in the lunch moment. And so he's like, Jesus Christ. And then we cut over to Allie, and I guess her parents have made her a pastrami sandwich. I don't know what that is, chat. No, it's like some kind of bologna with olives in it. I guess it's like a bologna olive sandwich, not even pastrami. I like pastrami, actually. And she's like, fuck this nonsense. It's a butter bologna sandwich, which is disgusting. Jesus Christ. And she takes the fucking olive bowl and she throws up in this weird fucking very phallic chat statue. You ever anyone look at the statue in this movie? It's very phallic, but it has like various bumps and nodes on it. It's like just a disgusting STD afflicted penis, chat. That's how I imagine, at least. I don't know if I'm reading into that, but I got the sense that that's what it represented, chat. And so she just takes a bunch of fucking pixie sticks that she has, and she all just dumps them all on this bread and butter, and she has this cereal, chat. was it Captain? It looked like Captain Crunch to me. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe this was Captain Crunch. She puts all this Captain Crunch. Everyone's fucking staring at this, but I was like, what the fuck? And she takes it, goes, and she just eating like a little squirrel, like a chipmunk, Chad. Just cheeks over stuff. She's like, yeah, she loves it. And then John Bender goes and sits over to good old Anthony Michael Hall, chap, Brian, character in the film, and he goes, what are we eating today, Brian? He goes, just regular lunch. And John Bender's like, I thought he was gonna eat it, chap. He's like, all right, you take the Coke, I'm gonna take your lunch. Takes all the stuff out. He's like, this big fucking container, chat, this big container vessel. He's like, is that milk? He goes, that's soup. He's like, soup. And he goes reaching for another thing, and Bender goes to reach for the bag, and he goes, slaps his goddamn hand. That's not, it was, I think that was improvised too. Like, that was not supposed to be in the original script. Again, he was so in character for this role. I'm shocked that he did not have a bigger career after this. He's so goddamn good. And he gets all this other food out, and it's like, he takes like this juice box, and he's reading it, and then Brian goes, it's apple juice. He's like, I can read, Brian. Okay, and he puts that there, takes all the rest out. PB&J sandwich. He's like, oh, Brian. Oh, the food groups are neatly organized and presented. What a very nutritious lunch. And then he goes off and does this like, now I'm going to act out what life is like in the Brian household. And he does this whole thing, chat, where he's like, Brian is like, all rosy cheeked and everything. It's like, hi, Dad, how are you? Hello, son, good to see you. Would you like to go fishing this weekend? He's like, I can't, Dad, I have homework. He's like, son, always so studious. You know what? You could just do your homework on the boat. He's like, gee, Dad, that sounds swell. And he's like, honey, welcome home. Good to see you. Isn't our kid amazing? He really is. Mwah, mwah. Everyone's like, and Brian's looking at this, and he's laughing at first, but he realizes like that's not what my home life is like. John Bender doesn't know what a badgering harpy his mother and sister are, Chad. Like fucking Brian, he's just fucking beaten down. We see his dad at the end of the film. Remember his dad? We really see his dad briefly in this film, Chad. He's driving this car, his shoulders are hunched. He's just like, fucking Christ, fucking don't care anymore. Like you can tell, Brian doesn't want to become his own dad. He knows that's not accurate, Chad. The mother just has this fucking iron vice on Brian's dad balls the entire time, Chad. And Brian doesn't want that fucking vice on his balls. It's the last thing he wants. And so Emil Estevez, because even Molly Ringwald and Emil Estevez and everyone else is laughing, but eventually the laughing does stop because they realize, like, Brian's reaction. They start to realize that's like, shit, all these things that we're saying is hurtful towards each other, and I don't like it being, like, shown to me. Usually I just walk away when I say something really nasty or do something fucked up. But now I'm seeing it firsthand. It makes me feel bad. Like, they're feeling guilty, chat. Like, all these emotions, all this turmoil is finally bubbling up, and they're seeing it in each other. That's why it's great. And Emil Estevez was like, well, what about you, Bender? What's your fucking home life like? He's like, oh, that's easy. And he gets up, chat. And he starts acting like his father. It's like, hey, you goddamn dumb motherfucking retard, you. What are you doing here? Fucking all you do is you're lazy, you're smoking your goddamn cigarettes. You piece of shit. And then he acts like his mom, Chad, and he goes, you forgot that he's disrespectful, rude, ugly. Shut up, bitch. I'm not talking to you right now. Go out there and make me a turkey pot pie. And then we got John Barry's like, yeah, but what about you, Dad? He's like, don't you fucking dare. He's like, yeah, but what about you? He's like, I told you again, son. Don't you fucking talk back to me. But what about you, Dad? Bah, bah. And that's what happens, Chad. Like, he's beat. He's beat by his father, and he's constantly psychologically and emotionally abused, along with the physical abuse. And this is language in the use of the movie, Chad. I usually wouldn't use these specific words, but that's what happens in the film. I want to convey it to you, Chad. And the thing is, though, Emil Estevez says, oh, that's bullshit. Nah, you know, that's not real. That's not real. That's just part of your image. And the first time John Bender actually has, like, you think that's not real. You think that's real. He goes, nah, I don't believe it. No, not at all. No, you are full of shit. And then, like, we get the first kind of, like, not, like, get an emotional reaction. Like, we've seen some emotion from John Bender in terms of, like, a little breakdown. And this is the first time we actually see, which is brilliant. And he goes up to Emil Estevez and he pulls his arm up. He says, you see that fucking thing right there? You see that? And it's like all these burn marks on his arm, chap. And it's all these cigar burns or cigarette burns that his dad put out on his arm when he was a child. And he's like, see, that looks like, see that? It's about the size of a fucking nickel right there, a quarter. Yeah, that's a cigar burn. Okay, so yeah, you don't say what is real and not real. Okay, I know what I fucking experienced, and it's like, you know what, I don't really want to fucking talk to all you assholes right now. All right, you go ahead and eat your fucking lunches. I'm gonna be back here, and he fucking leaves. He just starts destroying the library, starts tearing it all down. He's fucking hopping around, shit, like a crazy monkey man. And he's just trying to calm down again after the destruction. Molly's like, you shouldn't have said that to me. He's like, I didn't. Milosevich is like, I didn't know. I just didn't know. It's just crazy. And eventually, chat, we cut to good old Dick Vernon. He's also enjoying his lunch, chat. Just forgot, that's the last lunch I forgot. MZA Matrix Dog. Matrix Dog, welcome to stream. He's enjoying a nice lunch. He's eating some oranges. Got a nice sandwich ready. He's got a good-looking pickle right there. It's a nice big Hawk and Dill pickle. Big Dick Vernon likes his big dick pickles, chat. And he's like, he's going to pour himself some coffee, chat. But then the fucking coffee thermos is filled with coffee grounds. Who puts just wet coffee grounds in a thermos? And he's like, oh, what the fuck? Everyone's lunch is ruined, chat. And he's getting up. He's like, I got to clean myself off now. And he has this weird walk, too. If you notice, he has this weird walk. I don't know what's wrong with him, chat. Maybe he got spilled some hot coffee. Maybe he burned his fucking balls and dick. I don't know. And he walks out. But then all the rest of the Breakfast Club, chat, the rest of the kids, they got there because they're going to go to good old John Bender's locker because they want to smoke some doobies. So they go over there, chat. They open up John Bender's locker. Has a negative slur on it, which I will not say during this stream. But again, it was the 80s. It was the 80s. That term was used a bunch. Not only that, hey, when I was in high school too, chat, in middle school, that word was thrown around constantly. And remember, chat, when you were in middle school and you always like, oh, that's so gay. That's so gay. And that's like gay meant stupid. And that's what that was kind of what the term meant back then as well. And it's not only until we have context and we mature as individuals, like, no, that's actually a very hurtful and offensive thing to say. We shouldn't use it. And we grow as individuals. But I was like, yeah, that was a big part of high school too, and middle school. So they open up his locker. Fucking guillotine comes down, cuts off Brian's head. He's like, he's dead and shit. He's fine. He takes this big fucking wad of marijuana, chat, like in this condom. I don't know why he keeps it in the condom, chat. It's very bizarre to me, but this giant condom size wad of doobies or of marijuana, of the MJ, chat, the reefer. And he's like, put this down your pants, Anthony Michael. He goes, okay. And he puts it down his pants, chat. It's like, I don't feel good. But he feels uncomfortable about it. And they got to get back to the offices. They got to get back to the library or Big Dick Vernon's going to get him, chat. And they're walking back like, and then we get like this fun little cat and mouse game of them trying to cut off Vernon to get back to the library, chat. And eventually, it's a great little musical number too. And like they're all running together in unison. It's like, yeah, this is fun. And eventually, though, it's like Emil Estevez, he says, I know how to get back. And John Bender's like, no, that way's going to be closed off. He's like, fuck you, John Bender. He runs off. Everyone else follows him. And they get there, and the way is actually closed off. And they go, shit. It's like, we should have listened to John. Molly Winwell's defending John, chat. Defending John, No, maybe there's more to the relationship than we actually thought. And so he's like, you know what, guys? Don't worry about it. I'll fucking sacrifice myself to Big Dick Vernon. He runs off. He just starts fucking screaming and hollering and singing. And they go back to the library, chat. And Big Dick Vernon, he's like, son of fucking Bender, you son of a bitch. And eventually, he finds him, chat. He finds John Bender in the gymnasium, shooting some hoops, chat. Playing some basketball, if you will, and he's like, all right, enough of that. All right, stop it, Bender. You're done. He's like, now I'm gonna try to go out for a scholarship, as he says. He's trying to do fucking 3-pointers, even though it's not 3-pointers, more like 1-pointers. Thank you, Doug, for another 5 minutes. He was sacrificing himself to Dick. He was. That's what he did, man. Sometimes you gotta sacrifice himself to the Dick. Sometimes, chat. It's inevitable. And John Bender, he did that, chat. He went to sacrifice himself to big old Dick Vernon. So, and I love this scene too, because eventually he stops and he starts like faking like he's gonna like throw it at Big Dick Vernon. He's like, and all that shit. And it's like on the third one, he just fucking rolls it to him. And I love this because again, I think this is improv too. And he rolls it to him. And Vernon's just like, you fucking asshole, and he kicks it at him. He's trying to grab him and shit, and, John Bender gets his bag or whatever. He goes back to the library. Everyone else is seated there. And Big Dick Vernon's like, okay, everybody, sorry to disappoint you, but Mr. Bender will no longer be joining you now. He's going to be in another area of the school, okay? And so I don't want any other more funny business. And John Bender's still just saying sarcastic comment after sarcastic comment. He goes, you know what, guys? You know what? I'm gonna be fucking honest with you. You know, John Bender, You guys, you think he's so fucking funny. You think he's the bee's knees and all that shit. Imagine where he's gonna be in 5 years. He's gonna be either in fucking jail or in a ditch somewhere. Everyone goes, whoa, whoa, and even John Bender's like, hey, hey man, that was very cutting. And he even goes up to him. He's like, you got any funny comments to say now, John? You got any funny comments to say now? It's like, hey, come on with me. He's like, don't touch me. Like, don't touch me. You shouldn't touch a kid. Shouldn't touch a kid, chat. But he fucking walks off and eventually takes him to another room. I think that's near his office. Like, it's some storage room somewhere. And he puts him in there, and he goes, Bender, that's the last goddamn time that you'll embarrass me in front of these kids. There's also another scene in the film, too, which I love, where after the conversation they have, or argument they have, where Bender gets, like, 8 detentions back to 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 back. He says, fuck you, which is also mixed in with some music. And you see just Vernon, like, he's like, I could go back in there and just give him another one. But you just see this fucking defeat and sadness on his face. He just has this great, and he just walks away. I love that moment. I love that moment. Like, Big Dick Vernon is a character where I go back and forth with all the time. It's like, this guy's just been beaten down by life, much like these kids are being beaten down by life. And he's become bitter about the situation, but I think there is. I mean, even after the scene that's going to happen, which is like, gee, it's kind of fucked up, there is maybe a good person. I think there is a good person by the end of the movie. Like, he realizes, like, oh, okay, all right, there is hope for this generation. I need to do more just like these kids do more. I don't know. I read it in different ways. I'm curious of what your opinions on Vernon is. But there's this moment where he's like, don't you ever embarrass me in front of those kids. And Bender's like, whatever. And he says, you know what? You know what, asshole? The thing is, after all this is over, after you graduate, if you do graduate, you know, and everything's over, and people have forgotten about you in this school because they don't care about you. The thing is, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there because when you fucking graduate, I'm gonna be there to kick your fucking dick into the dirt. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. And John Bender's like, holy shit. Because and the thing is, and it's like nothing will happen. Like even John Bender's like, you want to go right now? You want to go right now? John Bender's like, no. He's like, you don't want to go right now? It's like, listen, you go ahead. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go right now. And the thing is, they'll never believe you. They'll never believe that I just beat the shit out of you just with no provocation. They won't care. I'm fucking respectable here. You're nothing but a lying little turd. And he even walks up and shakes off his fuck. He's like, okay, let's go. He's like, Jesus. Takes off his tweed jacket, chat, and he presents himself. You know, here. Come on, right here. Just fucking do it. Just fucking hit me right here. Just do it. Just fucking do it. And John Bender's like, does stuff. He's like, yeah, that's what I thought. Just a dickless turd. And he fucking shuts the doors. Like, I want to hear a goddamn peep from you. And he closes. And it's like, whoa. It was just shocking, Chad. It's like, I mean, you know, there's obviously the great moments throughout this film, but that was the one that was the most disturbing to me. You know, that's a show that Vernon had just lost it. And this is what he was feeling for so long, and it was released. It was released here. And so after that happens, he fucking goes back to his office, and fucking Bender, he's now crawling through the crawl space, and he's getting back to the library to hang out with the other people. He eventually gets there, chat, but it fucking falls through. He's like, oh! And Vernon's like, what the shit? He's like shitting himself in the bathroom and stuff. He walks on in, chat, and he's like, what was that racket? What was that noise? He's like, it was nothing, sir. It was nothing. Meanwhile, John Bender's underneath the desk of Emilio Estevez and Molly Ringwald. And this scene, I'm like, okay, you could not do this now. Like, he is right in front of the legs of Molly Ringwald, chat, and he sees under her dress, and you see her underwear and what leads to, you know, chat. And he just fucking, I'm gonna fucking take it. And he goes face first in there, and she goes, what the fuck? And she fucking, she clenches her thighs, chat, and she slowly crushes his head. He goes, grrr, and once, like, starts making all these noises to cover it up. He goes, all right, well, I don't know what the fuck's happening, but you have to show me some respect around here, okay? I'm not a fool. And he turns around and he has this, classic, 80s moment. Has the toilet paper still in his fucking ass, hanging out of his khaki pants. Yet he goes back. Everyone comes out and is like, everyone's laughing. Although Molly Ringwald starts beating the fucking shit out of John Bender because he did something very inappropriate. Thigh crushing? Yep, the man. Yeah, I know it's a fetish too. But she was literally using her thighs to crush his head. He comes out there. He's like, all right. Well, that happened. I need a drink check. Oh, goddamn little bugs. Got a little bug fell in my alcoholic beverage check. That's a painful death for you, good sir. You fucked up. So, He's like, all right, Jay, I got the good old MJ. Let's go ahead and start smoking. Everyone's like, I don't want to smoke. I don't want to do that. But fuck Molly Ringwald. She goes. Allie goes. Mila Estevez goes like, fine. Brian's like the last one, but he eventually goes, Chad. And they all start smoking doobies. And listen, Chad, as we all know, smoking doobies is the best in movies. Everyone's having a great time. Anthony Michael Hall, he's finally opening up. You know, he's not the shy weirdo as we always knew. Molly Ringwald, the first time she's ever smoking a doobie, chat, she's bonding with John. You know, Allie, she's having, I don't think she smokes anything. She just watches. She's like, I like to watch. And we get this wonderful segment where Emilio Estevez, he's smoking doobie chat. And apparently when you smoke marijuana, you're just imbued with the strength of 10 men. And he just starts fucking running around, doing flips in the air, chat, somersaults, all that shit. I mean, it's crazy. Doing lats or hopping over bookshelves, chat. And eventually he goes back into the room where he was just, it's just a giant of room filled with marijuana smoke, chat. He goes back in there, goes, ah! And the window just fucking shatters. Marijuana can give you superpowers, chat. That's what it proves. Chris, don't drink if there's a bug in there. I gotta do it. I have to drink with the bug. I'm gonna get the bug out. I got him, chat. Look at him. He's right there. Look at the bug. Can you see the bug? Can you see him? See, he's on my finger. Ah, he's dead, chat. He's dead. I got him. So, everyone's having a great time, and eventually, John Bader and Molly Ringwald, they start talking about the situation. He's like going through her bag. He's like brushing his teeth with various brushes and things. And you get the sense, like, even though there's obviously some more tension between them, you could start to see them falling for each other, despite their obvious differences, Jeff, because when you're in a room and all those preconceived notions and peer pressure is out of the way, you start to see that, look, and we all have a lot of shared common interests. You know, we're all good people. We just have to be away from the negativity that is high school. That is the social cliques of high school, chat. But then we cut back to Brian and Emilio Estevez, and they're talking about stuff like, even like, just fucking, hey man, what's your middle name? He's like, guess, man, guess. And Emilio Estevez goes, and then Allie comes in. She starts, it's like, your middle name's fucking Ralph. Your birthday's such and such. Your social security number is all this. And so she's like, how the fuck do you know that? And she goes, I stole your wallet. He's like, why? He's like, cause it's cool. And she's like, give my wallet back. He takes the wallet. He's like, hey. And Emilio Estevez, he's going through Brian's wallet too. Then no one gives a shit. It's like, yeah, social security number, whatever. That means nothing. It means a lot, chat. And he's like, oh, your fake ID. You made yourself 60 and this fake ID. He's like, yeah, I know. I fucking bamboozled it. I bungled it. And eventually Allie's like, do you want to see what's inside my bag? And she pours out this giant fucking cat lady size bag, chat, filled with everything you can imagine. Fucking clothes, a lot of tampons, like a shit ton of tampons, all on Anthony Michael. He's like, what's this? It's a tampon, you idiot. And you know, Emilio Estevez was like, why do you have all this stuff? And O'Brien asked, why do you have all this stuff? And she's like, so for when I run away someday. He's like, why do you want to run away? Because my home life is intolerable. And he's like, that's fucking weird. He goes, Emilio Estevez, you know, Allie, she says her home life is intolerable. You know, she says it's, you know, she can't stand it anymore. Emilio Estevez is like, why do you want to run away? She goes, I hate my parents. I hate them so much. And Brian's like, where do you want to go? Where do you want to live? He's like, I could go anywhere. I can go anywhere I want. I can go to fucking Cambodia. I can go to Afghanistan. It doesn't matter. And Emilio Estevez, he's like, he's crying. It's like, well, what's caused you to do this? He's like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. And she runs over, chat. She's sad and shit. And eventually, Brian's like, she's crazy, right? Emilio Estevez's like, shut the fuck off. And he goes over to talk to her, chat. She's like, you know, kind of by herself and is shaking and shit. And he goes, is it parents? She goes, yeah. He's like, did they do something really bad? She goes, yeah. And he's like, well, what is it? Do you want to share? We don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. And she reveals it. She's like, got tears. She got watery-eyed, chat. And her thing is her parents ignore her. They don't pay attention to her. They don't even want to acknowledge her. And we saw them begin the film where they drive away without saying goodbye or honey, I love you or any of that shit. Like nothing. Because she's different. And the other goes, my parents do the same thing. They ignore me. They don't care about what I want. They care about what they think I want, which is not what I want. And they bond over that shit. Eventually, we get to the best scene in the film where they're all in a circle together on the upper floor of the library. And they start sharing all these various experiences. The first one, so everyone starts asking, hey, have you fucking done it or anything? There was also a scene earlier where Brian said he did it with Molly Ringwald, which was not true. He did not have the sexual relations. He said, I'm a virgin. Like, all of these fucking kids are virgins. All of them are. But they got it. But again, that's the movie's point. You got to present this level of cool You know, it's all fucking facades in high school, okay? And you lie and you deceive to one-up another person. Like, that's the fucking point, Sally. That's the point of all these cliques. And it just destroys you as a person. That's the movie's, like, the thing that's trying to get forward. Present to the audience the objective. And eventually, you have Allie, and because that's what starts the conversation. Molly says, you know, let's play a game, and it's, well, what would you do for $1 million? She presents a scenario like you go to drive to school naked and things, and during the springtime, you know, Estevez goes, hell yeah, I would. And Allie chimes, she's like, I'd fucking do it, but I wouldn't even do it for any money. I'd do it for free, because I would do anything sexual for free. Molly Ringwald's like, why would you do that? It's like, that's just who I am. It's just, you know, that's just when I talk about, you know, that's what I just tell my therapist. She's like, what does your therapist say? Oh, he thinks it's hot, especially when we have sex afterwards. She goes, you have sex with your therapist talking about all your weird kinky shit? She goes, yeah. And even though technically it's rape, it's like it gets really fucking dark here. It's like technically she says it's not rape because I let him do it. And Molly goes like, that is really disturbing and weird. She goes, why do you think it's disturbing and weird? Have you ever done it before? Molly's like, I don't want to say. And she just keeps hammering and badgering. Everyone keeps asking the questions. Like, listen, why don't you answer the questions? Like, because I just don't want to. And I think Brian or someone chimes in and says, okay, the reason why, oh no, Allie chimes in. She says, okay, so I mean, what you say, it's always going to be negative. Because if you say that you do it, that you have done it, then you're a slut. But if you say that you didn't do it, then you're a prude. And there's also the other one that Brian comes up with that says, and you could also, whatever you don't say, you could also say this is all about being a tease. The with you, will you not kind of thing. And everyone says you're a tease and then keep harping on their chat over and over and over again until Steve's like, what the fuck is going on? Listen, man, it gets some deep conversation when you get high. And she goes like, all right, fuck you guys. I didn't do it, okay? I haven't had sex. And then Allie reveals like, I haven't had that either. I haven't had sex either. I've never done. I'm a virgin too. I'm just a compulsive liar and a kleptomaniac. She goes like, why would you do something like that? Would you do something so shitty? It's terrible. And they eventually start sharing more about themselves and like what's so terrible? Like why are these people here? And we get what is probably one of the best moments in the film where Emilio Estevez starts talking about like why he's in detention. And it's over the fact that it's because I wanted to impress my dad, or I thought I wanted to impress my dad. And he tells the story about like he was in the locker room and he saw this other student. What was his name? I always want to pay respect to the kid's name. Henry, I think maybe it was Henry or something, Harry. Oh, also chat, just pause. There was also a great interaction that the kids have with the janitor, Carl, because Carl comes and he says hi to Brian. Brian kind of ignores him, and John Bender starts fuck with him and saying, it's like, hey, Carl, Andrew, he wants to know about the custodial arts, how to become a janitor. And the janitor, Carl, he's like, listen, guys, listen, I know you think that I'm just some fucking serf, some step-on, some peon, but let me tell you something, okay? I listen to all your conversations. I know everything about you. I read all your goddamn notes. I go through all your lockers, okay? I know you kids are all fucked up and weird and going through some shit because we all went through that shit. But don't think I don't know or that I'm an idiot, okay? Treat me with some goddamn respect. And the thing is, Bender likes that because the one thing he admires more than anything, chat, is honesty. And even when Carl the janitor walks away, like Bender is like, yeah, that is a good man right there. Thank you. Thank you, Dark Side for the 5 minutes. I can imagine sex of Ali Sheedy would end with her stealing all your shit. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And stabbing you like a praying mantis, like a female praying mantis, just cutting your head off or something like that. Some weird, kinky shit. And so that was a good moment with Carl. But eventually we're back with the kids again. And Emilio Estevez starts talking about the story of this one student who he was changing the locker room. He saw this one other student. I think his name was Henry. And he looked at Henry and it's like, you know, he's skinny. He was meek. You know, weak, and it's like my father, he hates weakness. And before I knew what I was doing, I was on top of him, and I took all this tape that you use in sports chat, like I guess to tape up your wrists and things, or hands and things, so you don't damage them. And I just started wrapping all this very strong tape around his groin and ass. Over and over again, everyone's laughing, everyone's mocking him, and when they finally got me off of him, and they started trying to take the tape off, skin, hair was getting peeled off, and I was in Vernon's office, and the only thing I could think about that time was the humiliation that I did to this kid, that I was always thinking about when he had to go to his father, feeling so embarrassed, just so completely destroyed psychologically, emotionally, and having to say what happened to him. and is like, how do you rectify that? How can you apologize for something so incredibly cruel? And I just love this moment, Jake, because it's this them opening up, like talking about why they're there, but then also going to like, I did it because, he says like, I did it because of my fucking dad, and he's like, you gotta win, and fuck those weak people. They mean nothing to you. You step on them and you mock them, and my dad fucking does this, and I hate it, and I hate him, and I don't want to do this anymore. It's such a great moment, chat. And then eventually the conversation changes on over to like even like Brian starts talking about the pressure with his grades and how he constantly feels that with his fucking badgering mother and little sister, and how that always weighs on him. And how it's like, you know, I couldn't stand getting an F in shop. You know, it's like only the fucking idiots take shop. And John Mayer's like, I fucking take shop, asshole. He's like, yeah, have you seen some of those kids? He's like, hey, man. And it's like, I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't deal with it. All right. The idea of getting a bad grade, and my parents just that stress. And they're like, well, why are you here, man? What happened? He's like, I brought a gun to school. He's like, holy shit, why'd you bring a gun to school? And he starts talking about this stuff and saying, I wanted to kill myself. And they're like, whoa. And there's like, Brian, why would you do that? And he's like, you just don't understand what it's like. And eventually, but it went off in my locker. And John Benner's like, it went off in your locker, but your fucking locker was like burned and shit. And he goes, yeah, it was a flare gun. They're like, it was a fucking flare gun? You tried to kill yourself with a flare gun? He goes, yeah, it was stupid. They all start laughing, chat. But even before there's another conversation when they start talking about, you know, because Brian, he brings up, like even after this or before this, saying, I feel like you guys are my friends now. You know, are we still going to be friends after this? And Molly Ringwald, she's honest. She says, probably not. Probably not. Chris, here's the good 5 days. Yeah, they would have done a lot more than put him in detention for bringing a flare gun to school if they made the movie. Yes, exactly. No question about it. And he's asked, like Brian's asking these questions, like, would you say hi to me in the hallway? Would you do that, Molly? Molly's like, probably not. And John Benner goes, fuck you. Allie says, like, fuck you. Why would you do that? And even John Benner's like, that's a terrible thing to do. She's like, what? I'm being honest. I'm being honest, okay? This is just the way it is. And John Benner's like, point blank, ask her, it's like, why would you do that? Why would you be so fucking cruel to him to say that? And she goes, it's because of my friends and this just where we are. And she's like, but why? She says, I'm made to feel this way. We're made to feel this. And that's the point in the movie, chat. They're made to feel this way. They have to be all part of these specific cliques. And they can't venture out of these things, or everything will get fucked up. And she's like, and eventually they go back and forth. It's like, what if I was walking around with you, John? You know, what would your friends say? He's like, hey, don't talk to my friends. You don't know my friends. You don't look at my friends. You don't respect my friends. And he's like, it's the same for me. You probably said that the only reason you probably come up with the only thing that you would say to admit to your friends that why we're together is because you're probably fucking baiting me or something or some shit like that. And they go back and forth, and eventually they just realize it's like, wow, high school sucks. Like that's the decision they came to. This is terrible. And they're better people for realizing that, Chad, and they can't be defined by their stereotypes and their cliques and what's forced upon them by their parents, okay? It's like, that's a lot of pressure, but they can also start making their choices. A very important point in their lives, and they can do that. And through this experience, they've learned so much about each other. And then we get like another scene later on, a fucking big Dick Vernon, Chad. He's in the basement looking up all the confidential files, all these students. And Carl the janitor comes, he's like, what are you doing in there, Big Dick Vernon? He's like, nothing. He's like, look at all the confidential files I see. He's like, listen, man, no one needs to know about this, okay? Because you need very special permission to access those files, which Big Dick Vernon does not have. And Carl goes, you know how are you going to make it worth my while? He's like, well, what do you need? He's like, $50. He's like, $50? He's like, yeah, $50, pay up. And they have this great conversation when Vernon, they're just fucking downing beers down there, Chad, downing beers and drinking whiskey. And Vernon's like, these fucking kids get worse and worse every year. Carl's like, they're not getting worse and worse every year. It's like, you're the thing that's changed, Vernon. You're the thing that's changed the most. He's like, nah, they don't respect me. They just don't care. You know, these kids are going to be running the country someday. Is like, listen, I know you have regrets. Like Vernon brings up the fact, what did you want to do in your life? What did you want to be? And, you know, fucking Carl's like, I want to be John Lane. It's like, stop being a goof. Tell me. He's like, listen, you probably got this job, Vernon, because you wanted to teach because you thought it'd be easy. You thought you'd get the summers off. You thought you'd get good pay, and you'd get a raise every other year. But it didn't turn out that way. And that ate away at you, and that's the person you are today. And Vernon's like, I don't know. It's like, it keeps me up at night thinking about that these kids, they're going to run the country someday. These kids are going to fucking take care of me when I'm old. And he's like, yeah, they probably will take care of you. And Vernon's like, I don't believe you. And he goes back to his office, Chad. He got a lot to ponder on. And then we cut back to the library, and it's almost up. Time's almost up, and they still not have written their essays. They haven't written any of their essays, and they ask, since, I guess we should at least write one essay, and they go to Anthony Michael Hall. It's like, hey, we can help you write it. We can help you add some stuff. If you can write it out, that'd be great. He's like, fucking fine, I'll do it. And then we get some more moments with Molly Ringwald and John Bender, and then we have a great one, chat, where Molly Ringwald is doing the makeup of Allie. And, she does the makeup and she walks, which got a little conceited here, though. And Andrew Emilio, he's like, oh, my God, I finally see you for what you are, Allie. She walks out. She's, gorgeous and everything. It's like, I could see your face now. Your hair is always blocking your face. She's like, is that good? He's like, that's great. And then they start smooching. Everyone's smooching. And eventually, Anthony Michael Hall, he finishes the essay. He's like, this is my best work. Puts it on there. Puts pencil down. He goes outside. He sees his fucking poor, defeated father. Giuseppe's like, I gotta go home to the wife. I don't want to go home to the wife. Brian gets in. They drive off. And then we get to Emilio Estevez and Allie, and they are just smooching everything. They exchange phone numbers. Like, they're gonna get together again, chat. And she goes to her parents, just staring at her like, what the hell happened to you? She gets in her car. Emilio Estevez gets in the pickup truck of his dad. And the last one, chat, is John Bender and Molly Ringwald, chat. Judd Nelson and Molly Ringwald. And they're there, and she gives him one of her diamond earrings, puts in her hand. That's for safekeeping. And they fucking smooch, chat, and she gets in her dad's BMW, and he goes ahead, she goes ahead, and she drives off. And then, we get this, all this is played over some narration, because we cut back to the library. And Vernon is reading the note left by Anthony Michael Hall. And it's basically, it's like, you wanted us to write an essay about who we think you are. But on the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because you already have your preconceived notions of who you think we actually are. We're a jock. We're a prep girl. We're a nerd, a basket case, a criminal. You already have, but that's not who we are. We found out who we are while being together, okay? We are the Breakfast Club, baby! And Vernon, he's reading this note, and he actually looks up and he smiles. He's like, this is it. And then we had that song, chat. Don't you forget about me. Don't you forget about me. And Judd Nelson, he's walking across the football field. He goes, yeah! Freeze frame. Don't you forget about me. And that, chat, is The Breakfast Club. One of my favorite movies of all time. I gotta put together like my list of 100 films someday. I really gotta do that. Chat. I gotta put together something like that. So let you guys see that, peruse it, share your opinions on it. I don't know, like it'd be like a top 100, like it'd be like all numerically accurate shit, but like it's among my top 100 films of all time, chat. It's an amazing film, very historically important film, one that is still relevant to this day. Like aside from some slang that's outdated, some dialogue that's outdated, it's a perfect little presentation of what high school is for so many people out there. It's still relevant to this day. So I highly recommend it. And Devin, you nailed it. You nailed what I give it. I give it a high full price. This is a high full price. There's a few issues with it, but it's a great film. High full price.